If you're running a long-term care facility, you already know the deal. Finding new revenue streams that are actually compliant feels like a constant battle. Well, today we're going to talk about a huge one, remote patient monitoring, or RPM. And we're not just talking theory, we're going to get right into the nuts and bolts of how your facility actually gets paid. So this is the million-dollar question, right? You hear all this buzz about RPM, you see how it can help your residents, but how does it translate into actual dollars for your facility? The answer is definitely not what you think, and getting it right is the key that unlocks this whole opportunity. Okay, so before we even get into the how-to, we have to blow up the biggest myth out there. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off right now because literally everything else we're going to talk about builds on this one simple but crucial idea. And here it is. This is the whole thing in a nutshell. The myth, what almost everyone gets wrong, is that your facility sends a bill to Medicare. The reality? Nope, it's an indirect model. The doctor bills Medicare, and then that doctor pays your facility a fee for your services. Just shifting your thinking from left to right on this slide is, well, it's fundamental. Get this, and the rest is easy. So you're probably asking, okay, why? Why can't we just bill them ourselves? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Medicare has very specific rules about it. And as you can see, that list includes physicians, NPs, and PAs. You know who's not on that list for these codes? A skilled nursing facility or an assisted living facility. It's just how the rules are written. But listen, that is not a bad thing. It just clarifies your role. Your job isn't to be a billing company. Your real power, your real value is being the essential partner on the ground. You're the one making the whole program work for the doctor who can bill. You're the boots on the ground, the operational engine. Okay, so myth busted. Now let's get to the good stuff. Let's build on that reality and look at the actual model. This is where we get into the money, how you get paid. It's all about that partnership with the doctor, built on a very specific and very important type of financial agreement. All right, if you write down one thing today, make it this: fair market value, or FMV. This is the magic term. It's a fixed contracted fee the doctor pays you every month. Now, here is the secret sauce for compliance. It's based on your costs, what you spend on staff and tech. It is absolutely not a percentage of whatever Medicare pays the doctor. That isn't just a tiny detail. That is the key to keeping everything legal and above board. So what does this look like in practice? It's a really simple three-step dance. 1. The doctor bills Medicare. 2. Medicare pays the doctor, usually somewhere in that $110 to $150 range per patient per month. And 3. The doctor turns around and pays you your fee, that fixed, pre-negotiated FMV fee we just talked about. See? It's clean, it's predictable, and it's compliant. Naturally, the next question is, okay, so how in the world do I calculate that fee? How do you turn your real-world costs into a price that's both fair and, more importantly, compliant? Let's break it down. I promise it's way more straightforward than it sounds. Step 1 is all about your people. You just have to figure out, on average, how many minutes your staff spends on RPM tasks each month. So in this example, maybe it's 10 minutes for a CNA, 15 for an LPN, 5 for an RN. Then you take their loaded hourly rate, that's their wage plus benefits and taxes, the whole shebang, and do the math. Here, it adds up to about $21 per resident in staff costs. All right, step 2 is even easier. This is your technology and admin bucket. Think of it as the costs for the software platform, leasing the devices, and just the general overhead of running the program. In our little example here, let's say that comes out to another $17. And now for the big reveal, you just add them together. Your $21 in staff costs plus your $17 in tech costs equals $38. That right there, that's your fair market value fee. It's not a number you pulled out of thin air, it's justifiable, it's defensible, and it's the number that goes right into your contract with the doctor. So now we get to the fun part. You've figured out your price. Now the game becomes about profitability. How do you get efficient and pull the right levers to make this program a real financial success for your facility? This one right here, it's probably the single biggest lever you can pull. Just look at the difference in cost. It is a no-brainer. You cannot have your $62 an hour RN doing the routine tasks that your $32 an hour CNA can do perfectly well. Driving profitability means delegating to the right level. It's not about being cheap, it's about being smart. And here are a few more quick hitters for you. First, scale. The more residents you have on the program, the better it works financially. Second, standardize everything. Create a workflow so staff time becomes predictable. Third, automate, automate, automate. Let the software do the heavy lifting. And hey, a pro move? You can even create different service tiers with different FMV fees. Okay, let's take a breath and talk about staying safe. Because let's be honest, none of this profit talk matters if you end up in hot water. I want you to think of these rules not as a headache, but as the guardrails that are there to protect you and keep your program safely on the road. So for the doctor to get paid by Medicare, these boxes have to be checked every single month. You need data from the device on at least 16 different days. You need to log at least 20 minutes of your team's time. You need at least one live chat, like a phone or video call. And of course, you have to document everything. And just a little heads up, keep an eye out for a 2026 update that's going to add a new option for billing with fewer days of data. And now for the big red flags, the absolute do nots. I'm going to say it one more time because it is that important. No revenue splits. Your payment has to be that fixed, fair market value fee, period, end of story. Don't even think about trying to bill Medicare yourself. And a little pro tip, day stacking doesn't work. Taking 5 readings on a Tuesday still only counts as 1 day of data. You need readings on 16 separate days. When you boil it all down, the whole strategy is right here. This is the formula for success. You win by maximizing the number of residents on the program, minimizing the number of minutes your staff has to spend on each one, and all the while staying strictly compliant. That's it. That is the whole game. So there you have it. You've got the entire playbook now. The billing model, the math behind the fee, the levers for profit, and the compliance guardrails to keep you safe. The only question left on the table is, how are you going to take all this and tune your facility's very own FMV to build a program that really works for you?